Good evening, afternoon, night, morning, whenever you find a way to watch or listen to this podcast. It is me, Omar Rashan T. Borja, the Burger Popper, back again with another round of interview or another interview with one of the players from Unity Beach Bowl that I've been rolling through. So far, I've gone through two. I've interviewed Eric Montes from Delaware State and Kalitri Zhao from St. Thomas of Florida, and both great interviews that you can find on the YouTube channel and the Spotify. I'm joined by another player that I met at the Unity Beach Bowl, and just a funny story. Just he saw me in my Franklin from Charlie Brown hoodie and blue gray classic Letterman jacket, and he like I was just trying to watch a game. I was just trying to be inconspicuous, just watch a game and take notes. But you walked up to me. Jacardon, and introduce yourself, and it was a fun conversation,
Yeah.
and I just knew I had to have you on the podcast. And I'm joined, of course, by Jacardon Cardi Hardemon from
Mhm.
Southwestern College out in Kansas in the NAIA. Before we start, Jacardon, how's everything going?
First, I'd like to thank you for bringing me on here and, just allowing me to just express what I've been through and my experience and what's going forward. Honestly, right now this recruiting process from NAIA is a little different than, if you're coming from a D1, if any sort, and you perform, you're pretty much waiting on that pro day and trying to get straight to the league or get signed somewhere. But right now, for me, I'm kind of young. I'm like 21, and I burnt my years quickly. And I guess COVID kind of reset everybody back a year or two. So it kind of like got a lot of it back. It kind of the football process of going out of college from high school is kind of backed up. So, I mean, for me, it's kind of just looking at either Canadian leagues or right now overseas. I mean, and with coming with that, you just gotta. I've been staying prepared, staying consistent, staying ready, and I'm ready just for whoever give me the opportunity and where to go. So
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good, honestly. And I know, I mean, I obviously don't understand. Haven't, I didn't play college ball, but I know I understand the transfer portal has had domino effects at all levels of college football. So it's interesting to hear you say that. And man, hearing you say that you're 21, that's kind of crazy because I feel old now. Like I didn't think I'd be, talking to players younger than me, turning 26 this year. So it's pretty crazy. But yeah, the transfer portal, the effects are just insane.
yeah, it, it is what it is. But I I can just say I enjoyed myself. I made the best of wherever I was at. So I can't be upset at anything. So it did back everybody up. Had its effect for sure. So
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, you have a great attitude about it. And something I've started that Eric Montes from Delaware State gave me the idea to ask. Um, I've been asking the players that I've interviewed, like, what are some talents or interests that the public may not know that you have?
I'm very energetic and I got great energy and great like personality just on and off the field. I mean, if you ask anybody that know me, they'd say the same thing. I mean, I'm just a great dude to be around, and I work hard, and I got great integrity. I would say I'm one of those ones who do the dirty work because like I just been an underdog my whole life, so it's just been head down and just straightforward for the past 8 years, literally. So I mean, people wouldn't know unless they got to know me or been around me. So
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Honestly, I mean, it's great to hear. I mean, coming from someone else, undersized myself when I played football in high school, it's really great to hear. You got to be the hardest working person in the room a lot of times, and so
mm,
I do relate to that, especially too on this journey in journalism. With it not being my day job and not having a degree, like I totally get that.
yeah, so
But going on to like my next question, so of course I have to ask this, right? Fashion style is how we cross paths at the Unity Bowl. So what exactly defines your style slash fashion?
um, it used to be like real flashy. Like I would. I would wear the most expensive shoes or the most expensive shirt or the most expensive pants. But right now, it's kind of like I've molded my body into a certain shape, so it's like I don't really need to like wear all the flashiest things. I can wear some simple Nike Vomero runners with like some like what I got on right now. Like literally, I got on like some what's this? I think Fanatics. What is it called? What you know what this sign is right here? I think it's you're on mute. You're on mute. I think it's
Is it
Fanatics.
athletic?
Fabletics, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Fabletics.
don't know.
I don't really, yeah, something like that. But I don't really buy from there. But this is very comfy and like flexible, I would say. So it's just like something I find my best interest in. Something comfy, not nothing that's gonna make your feet hurt or you know just a different material. And I got on like a this is a dry fit t-shirt. This isn't a cotton. This isn't nothing, heavy. I mean, so I just I just comfy wear. Really, that's my style. But yeah, I switch it up depending on the environment. You can switch it up. So, but as of right now, it's not really nothing flashy. I might put some earrings in, but that's about it. So pretty
Yeah, I
simple,
mean,
dude.
yeah, good to know. Like honestly, comfort is everything, and I mean, my wife doesn't like when I go with comfort to the coffee shop because everything's got to be a date. So we,
Yeah,
yeah.
what comes with it. I mean, I get that for sure. Want to look good next to your partner, so I get that.
Yeah, no, I've come to understand her better.
Hmm.
But going on to my next question. So, looking at your bio, I noticed that you're from Arkansas. Um, you know, I kind of had this general idea that people that played in the KCAC, a lot of the players came from in-state. So, what made you choose Southwestern?
If I'm being honest with you, Southwestern was probably my first offer coming out of Bentonville, Arkansas, Bentonville West, Arkansas, to be exact. Uh, they were my very first interest and offer, and it was just always love, and it was, in my opinion, the most money on the table because COVID kind of like pushed back money and like room for guys to get on the roster come out of high school. So it was really just the best opportunity. I mean, I'm glad I made it, and I only really ended up in Arkansas because of Walmart. So my stepmom just made our whole family transition to Arkansas for the rest of my high school years for 3 years, and well, really, yeah, 3 years, and or else I would have been coming out of Dallas. So who knows where I would have ended up? I mean, the school in there is probably the best in the country, in Dallas. Like I don't know, and they all have independent school districts. So it was pretty interesting just going from state to state and seeing how like different schooling operates. Because I'm originally from Florida, West Palm Beach, and I moved from Florida to Dallas in 2017, and then from Dallas to Arkansas in 2018, where I finished the rest of my 3 years out. So it was I would say I picked it. I picked the school because for one, you can't go wrong. It's nothing to do here. You can stay focused, consistent. My parents thought it was a good idea. They didn't really have a problem with it. And for two, I was just like, why not? I'm not paying the most, and coming from where I lived in Arkansas is kind of similar. Not much to do, and not a lot of people. Population is like 4 or 5 thousand, maybe 10, 15,000 in Arkansas, and I don't know what it is here. It's probably like 10,000, 7,000. So yeah, small towns.
That's interesting. I mean, honestly, the point of, I mean, I hear a lot of people go to colleges, because there's a lot to do in the area. I don't think I've heard anyone go because there's nothing to do in the area.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm from the city, so it was just kind of like I learned how to have fun with nothing to do, like just enjoying the environment for what it offers. I learned how to do that, so it's not much I really need. to like enjoy myself and be happy. I don't know. You don't really need to do much. I mean, right now inflation is crazy. You know, you can't really spend too much money. Go broke. I know everybody ain't balling, so I mean, yeah. I mean, and I'm not getting NIL, so that was just me. So that was my decision. I mean,
Yeah, that's a very good point. Honestly, I mean, hopefully the times do get better.
no, sure.
But going on to my next question, I noticed I was fascinated to see that you made a switch in numbers from 90 to 8. Of course, defensive linemen there aren't a lot of single digit numbers. I'm also peaked. My interest is also peaked because 8 was my number as a senior in high school. I use that number because my favorite Army quarterback growing up, Trent Steelman, had that number. So, what made you go from the typical 90s to the single digit mafia?
I'm gonna be honest. You know, in high school, I always wanted to do it. My senior year, just like you, I was number 8, and they were using me a lot. I was playing offense and defense, so I was just like, why not? I might as well switch over 90 on as an offensive player. I mean, you can do that, but like it wouldn't look right in my opinion. So I just decided to just make that switch. And honestly, I picked number 8 because of Kobe. Like it was like his prime number when he was doing the most craziest things you ever seen. He was in number 8, so I felt, you know, I just felt that energy and that vibe with number 8 on. I feel like you just perform, you look good, play good. You know, you feel good, look good, play good. So, or however Dion said it. I mean, you know, so I felt like that was the best thing to do for my senior year here, and it worked out. I mean, I had the best season, one of the best seasons as a defensive lineman here. So I'm proud to be able to say that and keep the trend going with number 8. You know, you must perform. You got that number on, you must perform. You must. It's kind of similar to, you know, I don't know, 24 in basketball, 23 in basketball. You got to perform. So yeah, that was just me.
Yeah, so going on, like I mean, you really did have a great senior season. I mean, stats were honestly a little hard to track on Southwestern College's site. It's kind of I can only imagine how frustrated you were, with that.
Like you just don't know. I probably would be top 3 in every stat, and then yeah, if the stats were right. But you know, I'm not gonna say too much, but just keep balling. Just put it on film. That's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, just on the point with stats, like you have such a great year in your senior year. I want to know, I guess, what's the biggest improvement that you think you made to your game over the course of your career at Southwestern?
Hmm. As a defensive lineman, come out of high school as a senior, I didn't really have a pass rush. I was just strong, like super strong, and was able to got enough speed to get around people, or got enough speed to move them around. But like, you don't necessarily have to use your strength when you're getting crafty as a defensive lineman or defensive end. In general, it don't matter where you at, but you get crafty enough, and if you're quick enough to get out the ball, you don't even need to really touch them for or like use force. You just being explosive and quick. So, I mean, that's probably the most kudos to one of my defensive line brothers from here. He kind of brought it to my attention 2 3 years ago that I was very good at using my hands and I was strong. But if I was to translate that to being like some finesse where I don't have to be strong every time, it really opened up my game for me to like be able to come off the edge strong and make a push pull, and then I can come off the edge just as fast. Like I'm going to hit you and just blow right past you. A ghost move or a quick move inside, you never know. So I think that was the best thing I did and improved on for my time here.
I always think it's interesting, like how much pass rushing is truly an art. Honestly, I mean, I played in the secondary in high school, and it's not as much as of an art as it is the pass rush. So it's really interesting to hear you say, like, with your approach, is like how scientific it is.
It's kind of like playing basketball, bro. Like if you're quick enough, you got enough time to make a move once you're engaging with the man in front of you. So it's all about closing that gap. if you close that gap quick enough, you close it, make a move, get past them. Like you hit them with a head, like it's really hard. Like you really don't just have to motor. Like you can slow down, make a move, and get around them. Like it's so many things you could do. It's crazy. I really didn't, I really didn't know that coming out of high school. So that was probably my best improvement for sure. Like to as a defense lineman, and I understood my body and how because I could use my hands. I understood my body and how like just to get around somebody, regardless of having to touch them or anything. So yeah,
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's honestly something that like I never got a side of, just due to like not being the position or even like even close to playing the defensive line ever. So it's really like great to hear and like to learn that. It's good to like kind of finally learn that really. So going on to my next question, just looking at Southwestern's track record while you were there and before, it had been a long time since you guys won a playoff game. This year, of course, you guys didn't win it all, but I mean, just a huge step for the program, winning a playoff game. Like, how special was the team in 2024?
that team right there. We've had lost some guys, some key seniors that molded us together, and the team from 2023 year, the year before last year. Last year we just had some transfers that came with it, and we had some guys to step up. We had some freshmen that were sophomores on the field that stepped up and held their own and knew the assignment. And you know, we had a great DC. His name is Trevor Strong. He actually made us learn and trust the system. Once we all understood and trusted it, we all were flying like bullets in all our gaps. And we were gap sound defense. And that was one thing I didn't understand coming here because I mean we were 3-3-5 out of high school, but you really got to play a gap sound so no crease eventually happens. And if everybody on the field understands that, then that's how you can maintain standing in 3-3-5. But I really think the chemistry and the grit for the team and just I don't know, the chemistry was unmatched. I mean, everybody, offense, defense, we all were like brothers tight. Nobody had issues, never had fights in practice. That was different. Like when we were good in 21, 22, we actually were like going so hard in practice, we were getting frustrated with each other. We were fighting, and I would say that 2024 class that we didn't really have bad energy at all. It was always good energy, good vibes. We all trusted that we was gonna go out there and do what we needed to do every Saturday. So, and we understood the assignment because the year before that we didn't have a so good season. We had two heartbreakers. Uh, we went 8-3, but we had two heartbreakers in two of those games, two game winning heartbreakers, where it just happens. And I mean, this year we understood we needed to get another conference championship for the seniors that are leaving, and just keep the standard the standard. We did put in a lot. Like we all were we all was 1-0. Like we all every day we did what we needed to do on the field or off the field. So that's another thing I think what allows the chemistry to just work because everybody knew what it took to each week to win. So that's what I think was special. Like everybody bought in. It was new guys, new faces, new young guys stepping up. It was just a good opportunity for everybody. We had some guys stepping in the leader roles on both sides of the ball, and shoot, we just got it rolling. I mean, first game of the season, 44-0. How happy could you be as a team to 40 ball a team and shut out for week one? That was great. So yeah.
Yeah, so a question I have is, I mean, just on the 40 ball, I believe that was against Ottawa, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
All Kansas League, of course, with the KCACA. Who is Southwestern's biggest rival?
We have okay. I'm gonna answer that, but we have one Missouri team. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna leave them out, but I ain't gonna say their name because they was one of the heartbreaks last year, 2023 season. So it's kind of a little bad blood with them, but it is a one Missouri team in the KCAC now. So
Okay, my
Yeah.
my mistake.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. No, I was just letting you know they just joined, so it's not.
Okay,
Yeah, they're like last year, so you wouldn't even. Yep.
so
You said what was the biggest rival? I'm sorry. The
yes.
biggest rival we have every year. It's a you know that triple option team from down the street, Friends University. I mean, they always been our rival because of how close we are, but now that they got the triple option coaches, staff from Bethel University to their school, I want to say 3 years ago. They just became a real deal rival at the end of the year every time. So, yeah, it's kind of bad blood. I mean, that week I'm taking practice times 10. I'm focused on hitting and being physical every play. And because that's what it takes to actually beat a team like that. You got to do a lot of tackling. Everybody got to be able to tackle. And so, I mean, it's a great rivalry. I mean, they definitely upset us this year. Once again, we been beat. They beat us last year fair and square. It was just bad conditions, but this year we had it in the bag, and we came back and just block field goal within the 10-yard line of the field goal. So it is what it is, and it's a little hard to take a chance. Our only loss, like we were undefeated this year. Like that team was really bought in. Like at first we were down 14 at half, maybe 10, I want to say, and we just battled it out. I mean, they're a great offense. I give it to them. I mean, they're a great team in general. They're a great team. I give it to them. Great coaching staff, coach them boys hard, and they give us a run for our money every year. So we can't be mad at that. And if you ever played or played against a triple option team, a wing T, you understand it ain't nothing to play with. So yeah, it's our rival.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the triple option is, I mean, as an Army fan, I love the triple option. But even preparing for it, like back in high school, I was the scout team fullback because no one wanted to get hit every single play. All 170 pounds of me was scout team fullback. But I mean, it's a tough offense to prep for. I mean, I mean, it's just unique. It's just so unique.
It is very, and I will say when you playing a team like that, if they're pulling out plays, because y'all don't have a lot of plays, you probably got about 40 plays total, maybe 30 if that, and if they're pulling out plays you ain't seen like counters to counter to on counter, then you're doing a good job in stopping them. So I think we did the best we could to win that game, and hey, it wasn't in our favor. So I'm gonna say it just wasn't in our favor. But yeah, it's very you gotta get mentally prepared to prepare for that team or even play for them. So yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, the option is the great equalizer. Going back to Southwestern College as a program, looking at their history, they have a long football history back to the early 1900s. Was that ever something that was on your mind, or that your coaches kind of stressed, like the tradition of playing for the Jinx, or was that something you guys like never really kind of thought of?
I'm gonna be honest. We got a new coach, and he been here for I want to say maybe 10, 15 years. I don't know exactly how long, maybe 20, but excuse me. He's actually never once mentioned the previous culture or how we used to win all the time. He just preached about the next day and what's coming up and making sure we're doing being our 1-0. We call it being 55 here. You gotta be 55 in order to compete here. So if you ain't 55, then we can't trust you on that field. So yeah,
That is interesting. I mean, I always get astonished like looking at the history of some programs, especially in the NAIA, just how long they've been playing. I think I feel like Baker has played the Kansas University and even like won a few times like way back in the day. So it always fascinates me just
yeah,
seeing like way back.
yeah. Some colleges play big colleges that are I haven't really looked at the history, but it is crazy. Like a lot of these teams played almost every school, so dates back years.
Yeah. So going back to your playing experience, was there any offensive lineman that I guess in conference that always gave you a tough time, or I guess who was like the best matchup for you among I guess guys that you played throughout your 4 years?
Uh, I wouldn't really say anybody gave me troubles because, for one, I've always, since I got here, since I was 18 and I got here in 21, I was able to make plays on everybody. Like my team, teams we played against, like I always knew that I could dominate. So, like, soon as I got here, and I played my first game off of a high ankle sprain, and I literally like caught their starting tackle and tossed him and made the tackle in the backfield, like on some Khalil Mack stuff. Like I literally like went down, threw him, and got down the line of scrimmage and made the play. So I mean, from that moment on, I kind of knew like if I stay with it and come mentally ready, I don't see anybody stopping me. I mean, of course, I'm not going to make every play as a D lineman in a 3-3-5, but I mean, I feel like I made my mark on every team I played against. I will say in the playoffs, because it's the playoffs, regardless who I play, they play hard. Like they give me a run for my money. It ain't gonna be easy at all. Like they're not they're not giving up one play in the playoffs. I will say that. Like Marion University, my freshman year, they were okay. You know, they had good size. They were okay. I mean, it wasn't like I played enough to make a play against them, but I would say Marion University back in 21. I don't recall any of their starters or what their name were, but that was probably the only O line where I was like, okay, yeah, I need to I need to come with it every play, you know. So yeah, I'll say that. Uh, yeah, I just say them because the other two, the other three games, I really just did what I had to do. We just came up short. So yeah, I'll say that. True. I'll say Marion University in my first ever playoff game in 21 at Marion. So
Yeah, I mean, Marion sounds familiar. I believe that they win the national title. I guess like I know one of these years they did. I guess recently. I just can't remember what
recently,
year.
recently they were powerhouses when we came down. I think they won it in like 2019 or maybe the year before that. Like they have a good program as well, and they actually came back on us like on the fourth quarter. Like just came like we was up 17-0. Third quarter, it just trembled down and scored three times. Game was over. So yeah, it was one of those games. I hate that we keep folding under pressure in certain competitive matchups, but you know, can't be mad. It's football. We went out there and competed, and you give it your all. You can't really have any regret. So
Yeah, that's very well said. Honestly, very very succinct, but well said. Uh, I guess another question I have, just doing research
yeah,
leading up to this interview.
yeah,
In my search for more stats, I found a profile of you on the track team at Southwestern. I guess there is no information on that page, but I guess how was your experience on the track team? Like, what events did you do?
yeah. So my freshman year, I actually threw shot put indoor, but I was ineligible due to previous semester's grades. But I actually competed and actually got suspended because I violated the rules. I was ineligible. So I competed and actually, I think I came in fourth or third at one. It was at Barton University, and I don't know, Idaho maybe. And yeah, I competed and I threw pretty decent. I want to say I threw 43, 44 with the college shot. So that was fresh off of football season and fresh off of a high ankle sprain. So I don't think I was the healthiest, but I can still throw collegiately. Like I have great technique and great explosion. You know, it translates to the football field as a D lineman having to flip your hips and just use your hands. You gotta have great hand-eye coordination. So it kind of correlates. And that's when I felt like I was my best when I was able to twist and turn and be twitchy. So we'll see. I mean, if anybody ever throws the opportunity out to do track, I won't deny it. Still can do that. I could do both. I feel like I could do both just as good. To be honest with you. So
Yeah, I mean, just knowing your athleticism, I would have thought that you were the anchor on the 4x4. I mean, there was no description, so shot put. I'm less surprised, but I was leaving it open for you being a sprinter and
yeah,
anchor 4x4, 4x1.
yeah, I appreciate that, man. More
But
of a more of a one minute type guy, but I'm playing. No, but yeah, I believe I can do both just as well as I can do the other. So yeah, I
yeah,
did. I also, I'm sorry, not to cut you off. I also did track in high school, so that's why I was pretty decent at it. I had a great coach at Bentonville. Was he? He had us doing Olympic style practices, and he he somehow managed to get our muscles to react and be explosive through his lifts and how we prepared every week with the weight and the distances and just some of the exercises we did. We know you just he kind of applied everything together and it made sense to me. And he was after every rep, he would show me and coach me up, and this is what you need to do. And then whenever I throw my farthest and it felt good, I know I could just have a good feel, a good muscle memory of how it's supposed to feel, you know. So
yeah,
and that's how with a great coach and when you have a guy that listens and put it and can be coachable, it works out. So I was grateful to have him as a track coach for sure, and as a mentor. He was a great guy. He is a great guy. So yeah, shout out to Coach Parrish, great man for sure. Miss that guy.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, like coaches are amazing. Like the difference they make. Like, I mean, I can still remember almost all my coaches. I mean, it's almost been like 10 years since I last played, but man, the coaches I had were great.
yeah, and they help you. You know, great coaches actually have a big impact on these kids and these athletes. So very very grateful for those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Going on, I guess with one of my last questions. So I know you mentioned a little bit before about like what you're looking at in terms of your future. Have any scouts reach out to you? I guess I know you mentioned foreign. I guess which scouts from like which leagues have talked to you?
Uh, I really don't know exactly which leagues, but I have at least two scouts from Arena Ball that's reached out to me, and uh, they just been texting, making sure, seeing where I'm at with playing football in the future, and I reached out to plenty of people all over, and I actually have interest as I said earlier in Canada as well. So we'll see what how it plays out within the next few months, and I'll be making my decision here soon.
Yeah, I'll be on the lookout for it. I mean, I'm a big fan of the indoor game, indoor and arena game, and I know Kansas and I know one team, the Southwest, or two teams, the Salina Liberty and the Southwest Kansas, the Storm. I mean, I know you'd be a fan favorite coming locally.
Yeah, so I don't know. We will see. I don't know what's in it and what it'll be, but we'll see. I don't know. I haven't really gotten much intel on the arena ball stuff yet, just yet. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is a fun game. I mean, it's a fun community and everything. I mean, at least the fans and they're just really dedicated fans.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, the team that I was rooting for from my hometown folded or ceased operations for this year. They should be coming back, but it was heartbreaking, really heartbreaking.
Yeah. Where are you? What home team? If you don't
Uh,
mind.
so I went to high school in a suburb of Albuquerque, so I was rolling with the Duke City Gladiators, but I could tell that the franchise was going nowhere fast because
What's
um,
what state is that?
that's New Mexico.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay, I didn't know that. So
Yeah, like
good to
they weren't that good. The fan experience, like also too, I think I noticed when I went to a game last year, the only game I went like visiting my family too. Like I noticed that the dance team wasn't there, the
know.
mascot wasn't there. There's no halftime entertainment, so it was like something was off. But they're under new ownership and they should come back or 2026,
Yeah,
hopefully.
hopefully. Yeah. I mean, I haven't really. To be honest, I really didn't even watch Arena Ball. I probably like came across of it a few times growing up, but I haven't really was intrigued or had time to just sit there and watch it because it was in the spring and around that time I'm outside playing because it's hot, So I wasn't really much of a TV kid unless it was right after school. Other than yeah, I really wasn't a TV kid.
Yeah, I really got into it. I guess towards the end of high school. That's like when they came back, and then it was always a tradition just to whenever I would come back in the summer just to go to a game. And actually, it was like they won back to back titles in the league that they were in before going to the biggest league, the indoor football league. They won back to back titles, and I was able to see the I guess the semifinal before they
Yeah,
went to the championship, and then
yeah.
but I had to report back to the academy the next Saturday. So I missed the title game and something that upsets me. And then the next, I guess the first day of class, like they asked like my professor asked like name was like just say one thing that happened. I guess one good thing that happened over the summer, your favorite part. And I said, well, I mean, I was able to see my home team, my hometown indoor football team clinch a spot in the championship game. And he says, wow, that's the first time anyone's mentioned indoor football in any of my classes. And
Mhm.
yeah, I'm sure
That's what's
people
up.
judge me. I'm sure they judge me, but
Nah, they can't. They can't. It's just football. I feel like that's just what you're interested in. Yeah, they probably did, but who knows? They always go judge. Who knows? I mean,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, the experience here at this school is great. I mean, great players. I mean, great teammates, great brothers, good coaching, great people here as well. I mean, I couldn't pass it up. So overall, it was a great time. Even though it's not much to do, a great time for sure. Made the best of it.
I'm glad to hear that. I mean, and I can tell like you seem like so thrilled with your experience at Southwestern, and this interview's really been a pleasure. Cardi, do you have anything final to add before we close off? Anyone you want to shout out? I know you shout out your coach, but anyone else you want to shout out before we end this interview?
I just want to shout out my mom, my dad, my little sisters, my stepmom. That's my backbones, my family, my why. And obviously everybody else from my mom's side that I grew up around. That just raised me to the man I am. My granddad as well. He's like a second father, my papa. So I mean, shout out my family, shout out God, and you know, shout out the haters. Y'all keep me fueled. So I mean, being an underdog, you got those people. So you never know. Yeah, that's really it.
Well, I mean, thanks for coming on, Cardi. Really appreciate the time you spent, and I hope this isn't the last time that we talk.
Yeah,
It was fun.
we definitely got a part to it. Or eventually I make it to the league or something. And we're doing this in person, so hopefully we can get this rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really enjoyed our encounter at the Unity Bowl. I mean, your personality is radiated and everything. It radiated in a really really bad situation, which
Yeah,
I don't want to go further. I
yeah,
feel like
yeah. No, there's no. Hey, I've grown and matured a very lot. Like there's no point in talking and getting down on yourself over a situation that it's out of your control. You it ain't nothing good coming from that, and I just realized that growing up, and I just move life in a peaceful, happy way. Keep God first, and you'll be fine. So,
yeah,
so I appreciate you having me, Omar. When I saw you fit it up, and you just had that smile on your face. I was like, yeah, it's my guy. Had to myself had to speak for sure. Yeah, that's something that's something I'm big on as well. Like if I go somewhere, my first impression is what you got on. How you put it on. Like you said, style. So I mean, I be putting it on slight. I don't be doing too much, but your style definitely caught my eye, and I was just intrigued. I had to say what's up, my guy. So, and
well,
you wasn't playing, and you looked young, so I was just like, I had to say something. You're a big dude.
Yeah,
So,
well, I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. I do try to do that. I mean, as I've been venturing more into the press box, like little by little, getting credentials. I've been trying to be, have the best fit, in my own type of way.
yeah,
I'm not a jacket and tie guy,
yeah, yeah.
but just try to bring my own flavor to the press box. And it's funny because I went to Notre Dame Navy and covered that one. I was at the Giant Stadium and I wore like an old like '80s style
MetLife,
horizontal line Giant sweater.
yeah, MetLife,
Yeah, MetLife, and people said like two or three people were like, "Oh, I just love that sweater,"
yeah.
and
You
yeah,
know, that's the aura, man. You just gotta put it on. Just gotta put it on. You never know. So
so,
yeah,
but thank you, Cardi. I really appreciate it, and I mean, yeah, I just hope to talk to you soon. I mean, hopefully you're playing professional ball sometime soon, so we can talk about your experiences there.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Yeah, and until next time, everyone, thank you for watching or listening. Stay tuned for more interviews throughout the off season, more just like general off season podcasts. We might get into more fun debates. I'm thinking about having my best friend and best man Dylan Casey on to talk some different stuff and kind of bring some humor back into the off season. But
Yeah.
until next time, everyone, peace, love, and soul in the Burger Popper.